Welcome back to WFISD Sports Zone. We're with Alysha Humpert, head volleyball coach at Rider High School. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here.
So we're about a month away from district play starting. You're 13-9 right now. Talk to the fans a little bit about the competition you've seen so far.
We always see pretty stout competition like at the preseason because we have some girls that can play some ball. We're young this year. We have a lot of sophomores, but we want to get their feet wet quick. We want to introduce them to top-level competition, and we've seen some top-level 5As at the beginning weekend. Canyon Randall, who we lost to last year, and then just last night we played, Decatur, ranked top 5 in 4A. So we've had a tough preseason play, but ultimately our goal is to have exposure of that now, and then we aren't surprised by it later on, hopefully deep into playoffs.
Great. So we graduated a lot of good players last year, a lot of great seniors, several of them went on to play college volleyball. Talk about the transition replacing those top players.
I think the transition for me as a coach is to remember the talent I have now. I've got to make them the best that they can be. It's good to use those girls as references, because a lot of them remember them, but I don't want to ultimately compare them. We are a different team. We got to find our identity, and we want to build off of their legacy, but ultimately we don't want to live in their shadow. We want to make our mark.
How do we do that? I love what you said right there about, you honor the legacy, but we don't live in their shadow, we don't play in their shadow. So what is the developing identity of your team right now?
I think it's more of a mental game for us because we do have some sophomores playing some heavy roles, and we have some seniors that are playing roles that they haven't played before. So we have the physical ability, we have the volleyball knowledge. Now it's getting our mental game there, and it's just going to take. I've heard a quote before, you are what someone says you are. So I'm going to keep telling my girls they are mentally tough. You are fearless. You are relentless. And, eventually our volleyball play will be consistent enough and prove that because we have successful practices. You can see in the match our performance level goes high and low. So that tells you it's a mental thing because our practices, our intensity is high ultimately. So we just got to master that mental game of it, and I think we'll get there in a month for sure.
Good. Let's talk to the fans a little bit about volleyball. So the libero position, someone who walks in and sees a volleyball game for the first time, why does that one kid get to wear a different shirt than everybody else?
Because we can't afford matching ones.
Oh.
No, that girl is designated to, pass the ball and ultimately give you more ball control on the floor. And they cannot be afraid of a ball. They can't be afraid to hit the floor. They can't be afraid to push somebody over because their job, they've got one designated job, and it's to make sure we try to keep the control on that back row line. And we've had some pretty tough girls in that role before, and we have Sage Ward, who is a senior this year, playing that role for the first time, and she's doing a good job.
So Sage is my all-time favorite Rider volleyball player, and that's because she never stops smiling. She can dive on the floor, come up with a busted nose bleeding, and she still smiles. How does she do that?
I think that is something her parents ingrained in her because they're just good people. And Sage, literally yesterday pregame, it was about 3:15. She got knocked in the face. I'm talking hard, right square in the kisser. And she was still holding her face, but she was like, I'm good, as she's smiling.
Still smiling.
Me and probably most people want to hit the wall when that happens or bang on the floor, but she's smiling and she's ready to go. She took about 5 seconds and she was hopping back in there. So.
All right, well, last question. District play starts in a few weeks. Talk about the district. Who do we have to beat to maintain and win another district championship?
We've got a small district, so you got to make every little match and point count. Aledo ultimately is a top competitor always, so I think those will be some high intense matches. Old High always puts out their best effort, and we can't, that hometown rival, always adds emotions to it. But, Abilene Cooper and Wiley are both returning people. Cooper's super athletic, so we got to watch the timing on our block. And Wiley's, they're veterans now. They're a little bit older. We're flopping situations. We were older last year. Now they're older this year, so we just got to make sure our mental game's tough. But ultimately, I think got to beat everybody, but we'll play one game at a time. But Aledo is definitely someone we want to strive to beat again.
Great. Well, I know you'll have the girls ready. Our next segment we call the Blitz. We're going to ask you a series of questions. I just want you to answer so the fans can get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
Maybe.
Who is your childhood hero?
My dad.
Favorite Disney character?
Oh, Belle.
Wedding anniversary date?
Oh my gosh, June 2nd, 2012.
Spouse's birthday?
11/6/85.
Favorite TV show?
Yellowstone, yes, Beth, shout out. Anyways, yeah.
Don't make me go Beth Dutton on you.
Yeah, that's
if
right.
you could
What
be
would
any
Beth do?
animal in the world, what would it be?
A dog.
What advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Live in and love the moment.
And what actress would play you in a movie about your life?
Oh my gosh. Sandra Bullock.
All right, that's the Blitz. See you next time on The Zone. Thanks, Coach.